This conference will now be recorded.
So, in the last class, we have seen about your variables, how to declare the variables, in both using the data declaration syntax, as well as the inline declarations. We have seen both things. So how to declare this using the inline declarations as well as using your data declaration syntax. And then we have seen about your selection screen design. In that, we do have your parameters and the select options. We do have your parameters as well as your select options. Now, in that we have told you about your parameters. So what is the importance of the selection screen, which is nothing but your input screen, where the users can able to pass their input values, is called as your selection screen. So now we are providing an input screen to the user. So the user can provide the values. So parameters as well as your select options. 1 second, guys. Okay. So now, after that, we have told you about your parameters, which is used to pass single values in the selection screen, which is used to pass if the single values in your selection screen is called as your parameters, whereas the select options you can able to pass multiple values or the range of values. So this I'm going to tell you at a later point of time. Now, so I have already told you the syntax of parameters. So I have just told you that parameters and then we have to write with p underscore your description. Type, you can just provide your data element, or you can just provide your predefined type, or you can just provide your table hyphen field, or you can provide your structure hyphen field. So like this you can be able to provide anything. So this is called as your parameters. Okay, so we have seen this and we have passed the input, and we can just provide, we have also seen the output by using your parameters. So this is what we have seen in your last class. So in today's class, we are going to see how can we use arithmetic, or how can we work with the arithmetic calculations, how to work with the arithmetic calculations. So in SAP, it will support both plus, so addition, subtraction, multiplication, and as well as your division. Everything it will be get supported. I will say comma. So multiplication we will be writing it as star, and the division. So everything will be get supported with these things. Now, how to work with that? So you can work directly So now I'm going to SC38. So ZR 7 a.m. arithmetic calculations. I'll just go ahead and click on create. I'm saying that we are PR. So now this is what. Now, as I told you, SAP will support both addition, subtraction, multiplication, as well as your division. Now, now, so either you can create your variables, you can just create your variables, or you can do it with the help of your inline declarations. So I can just tell you that. So you can work with using of your data declarations. You can work using the data declarations, or you can work directly with your inline declarations. So inline declarations, always remember, I told you this, inline declarations, it will always use the character or variable var. So it will use a data type called as your variable char or character. Both are the same in SAP. So it will only use the variable character. It won't able to use either numc or integer or decimals, nothing like that. It can't able to use that. It will only use your character. So character will support everything. It will support everything. So like your alphabeticals. So I will say this as letters, numbers, and the special characters. You know this. Whereas if you take this as numc, it will only support numbers, as well as if I take this as integer, so only positive numbers it will support numc. Remember that. Integer, it will support both negative and the positive values, whereas the decimal, it will support uh, the decimal values. The decimal values it will support. So it can be a 0.1, 0.5 or anything like that, it can able to support. Whereas character, it can support everything. If you are doing with inline, it will always be your character. It will be everything. It will be everything. So this is what your thing is. So depends upon your requirement. So usually in real time, I will always use it as character only, because we will be writing in the form of your inline declarations. Automatically it will be created in the form of your character only. But if you want a separate thing, and if you want to use your old syntaxes, then you have to declare what exactly the data declaration you need. What exactly the data declarations you needed, you will be going and declaring that one. So as I told you in last class, how to declare your data declarations. Okay, so you go ahead and do it. So yeah, that is how you have to do it. Now, how you have to write. So data, I'm just going to say simple gv underscore. So I'll say this as addition, and you can just provide your value. So 100 plus 200 plus 1000, anything. So now how the length will be gets calculated? By summing of this value, what is the, how many characters it is. So this will be equal to your 1300. That means it will be a char 4. It will be your char 4. So I told you this one. Now, the next one is data of GV underscore subtraction is equal to, so like the same way, minus 200 and minus, I can say this as 1000. So you have to provide a space in between this. If you are not providing a space, it will be show you as a red color. So if you are seeing this as a red color, that means there is an error in your program. There is an error in your program. But sometimes when you are using the a GUI logon version which is less than 750, means if you are using 730 or 720 or 700, so we will have till 780 is the latest one, the logon at 780. Right now the beta version has been released, so it has not released the entire full version. So currently in real time people are using 770 and 760. So if you are less than using that, some for some new syntaxes you can see that as your red color. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. But when you are seeing this red color, there is some issue. They are seeing some issue. Okay. Now the same way, data GV underscore multiplication, the same thing. 100 into 200 into 1000. So whatever you want. Next, the data of GV underscore division. So division is equal to 100 divided by 200 and divided by 1000. Like this, you will be going and writing your code. You will be going and writing your code. So now, how to display this? How to display the data? So you'll just using this command, the white, right? GV underscore addition, comma GV underscore subtraction, comma GV underscore multiplication, comma GV underscore division. Now do your pretty printer and let's get check this to see if there are any errors. No errors. Let's get activate your code and let me click on execute. Now see here the same thing you are going to get that in your output. The output. So this is what. See here the negative symbol will always show you at the right side. In SAP, the negative symbol will always show you at your right side. Now it's one dot triple one dot. So what will be the output? It's 1300. But see here it is showing it as 1.300. 1.300. So how it is coming? So system, if you go to your user profile and own data. So if I go to my defaults parameters, see here I was showing you the dot. So the decimal notation, how you are going to how you want the decimal notation. So this is the US format and this is your the Indian format. If you take this Indian format and just click on save. So to reflect these changes, we need to close the system and we need to re-log in again. So when you are changing the user profile, always remember when you are changing anything in your user profile, so in order to reflect those changes, we just need to re-log in. So just close the system and log in again. Just close the system and log in again. So this is how you have to do your arithmetic calculations. So now let me give you an assignment. So I'll tell you about your if conditions and now the case condition, and then I'll be giving you your assignment. Now, so the next conditions we are going to see is your if condition and or if statement and the case statement. If statement and the case statement. So what are these? These are mainly used as the conditional operators. conditional operators. So based on the condition, so based if the condition has satisfied, if the condition has met, then that logic that logic has to be implemented. That logic has to be executed. That logic has to be executed. So this is what your if statement and case statement. So the main difference between the if statement and case statement is the main difference between the if statement and the case statement. Case statement is if we can use for all the conditional operators, for all the conditional operators, for all the conditional operators like equal to, not equal to, not equal to. So equal to, you can also write this like this, or you can write like this, or not equal to, you can either write like this. So this is the symbol. Greater than, less than, sorry, less than, you can write like this, and then greater than or equal to. So this is the symbol. So you will be writing this as greater than or equal to, and then less than or equal to, you will be writing in this format. So equal to, greater than or equal to, less than. So for if we can use in all the conditional operators, all the comparison operators or conditional operators, you can able to use it. Whereas the case, it will only work for the equal to operator. Equal to operator. So if you are using an equal to operator, then we will be using the always a case statement. If you are comparing the value with your value as an equal to, that means the value must be equal. A conditional operator satisfy the equality condition. Then we will be going with your case statement only, or else we'll always go ahead with your if statement. We'll always go ahead with your if statement. Now, so what is the syntax? The syntax is if. So what is the value you want to compare? What is the value you want to compare? So now, let's say for example, I have a variable is equal to, I want to check with condition C1. Condition C1, or, so here you can use the or operator or slash the and operator also. The or operator as well as your and operator also, or C2. So if you are writing, then this is also, you'll be writing this as variable is equal to C2. So if any either C1 or C2, or C1 and C2, variable 1 equal to C1 and variable 1 is equal to C1, I'll be writing this, and variable 2 is equal to C2. So if it is an AND operator, you can doing with your two variables. If it is an OR operator, either it can be on two variables or it can be on your single variable. If, and you will be writing your ABAP logic. ABAP logic, whatever the logic you have. If this is not equal to, then you have to write one more condition. That is if else. If else, oh sorry, else if you will be writing this as variable 1 is equal to condition C3, or variable 1 is equal to condition C4, like this. So then you will be writing whatever your ABAP logic. So like this, the if else if you have multiple, you can just go ahead and use that multiple. At last, if everything is not satisfied, then you will be going ahead with your else condition. Then you will be writing your ABAP logic, and you will be saying this as and if. So in every syntax of your SAP, so you will be having, if you take this as if, it has to be right with your end if. So if you take this as case, you will be having your end case. If you take this as do, it will be having an end do. So there are some more other operators like loop and loop. So like this, you will be having the different thing. The so the so it has to be closed with an end statement. It has to be closed with an end statement. If you are not closing this with an end statement, then it will throw you an error in SAP. Now coming to your case syntax. So syntax. So what is this? My case syntax is, so now, so you will be writing this as case on which variable. So here you can write only on single variable. You can't able to use it on multiple variables. So multiple variables, or you can't able to use it on multiple conditions. So you can't able to do that. You can able to do it on your single variable, like a variable. So you will be writing it with when. So here you can write with C1 or your C2. So like this, it is possible. So if variable 1 equal to C1 or variable 1 equal to C2, anything can be. So here this is, or you can't able to do like this, variable 1 and variable 2, like this you can't able to use. You can only able to use with one single variable. You can only able to use it with one single variable. Okay. So when C1 or C2, then you will be going to write your the ABAP logic, whatever the logic you have, or when. So again, if it is not equal to C1 or C2, and then C3, so then whatever the ABAP logic you want, you will be going to write that. So if everything is going to be failure, then you will be using an others. You will be using an others. Then you will write with your ABAP logic. ABAP logic, and then you will be doing with your end case. You will be writing with your end case. So this is what your if statement and your case statement is. Now let's see an example program. So now I'm going to work with your arithmetic calculations only using if and your case statement. So I'll just go ahead and click on create. So now I'm going to go with SC38 and then if and case. If and the case example. So I'll just go ahead and click on create example of using the if statement and the case statement. The if statement as well as the case statement. I'm going to take this as executable program and just click on your save. It will ask you your package as well as your TR. So now I'm going to create a parameter p underscore what is that operator type, I'm going to give this as your char one. So either you can provide your plus minus multiplication as well as your division. So these are the four values you can able to provide. So let's consider that. Let's consider that these are the four values you can able to provide. So how to put a validations and all these things that we will be checking at a later point of time. So how can you write your validations? So we are just at the base beginning. So just consider that you can only provide these four values. Okay. Now how I will be writing it? If P underscore operator, so let's say operator is equal to the plus symbol. So if you are using the operators, so you have to write in the single quotations. Numbers we won't be writing with your single quotations. And other than that, if you are doing anything, you will be writing with using your single quotations. Now I'll be saying this as, I'll just say data gv underscore variable is equal to, let's take this as 100 plus 200 plus 300, and then I'm going to say write okay, right, I'm going to say this as gv underscore variable, gv underscore your variable. And now I'll save p underscore operator is equal to minus. Then you will be writing it as this. You can use the same variable now onwards. So I'm just before that, if you want to remove the contents, you'll be using a clear gv underscore variable. I already displayed my data. So right now I'm going to clear that one. If nothing should be there, so I'm just going to clearing that one. gv underscore variable is equal to 100 minus 200. I'm just going to say this, and then I'll just copy the same syntax. I'll be providing it over here. Now else if p underscore ope is equal to multiply, then you will be seeing this as, again I'll just copy the entire thing. Instead of this, I'll be going and using your operator. Okay, now I'll be saying this as else if p underscore ope is equal to division, then I'll be copying the entire thing again. I'll be just saying this as division. Just saying this as division and do your pretty printer. And if everything is wrong, so I'm going with else, I'll say write invalid operator. Invalid operator. So that's it. Now do your pretty printer. Let's get activate your code. Let's get activate. There is an issue. Okay. So now I'll just get activate my code. So now if I click on execute, you can see here your operator. If I say this as this value, let's say I'm just going to provide this as this value, you can see here the invalid operator. But if I just providing this as this value, and you can see this, the value is 0.5, which is equal to 1. As it is going to take your character, it is going to your the next integer value. Now if I take this as multiplication, so then see the value is 20,000. Now if I take this as addition, that's the same thing. So this is how it will work. It gives you a if syntax. Now the next statement is your case. So how you will be writing?
So Ravi, just a question. Why do you give clear? Because every one will go through only once, right? After every if or else if. Why do
Uh,
you want to give a
if you want, you can remove it, but usually when you are passing it, so maybe before this, I might have used that variable somewhere else.
okay?
Maybe there might be a reason I might have used this variable at somewhere else. So that's the reason I'm just using this clear operator. That's it. Okay,
Okay, got
clear?
it. Yeah.
So I'm just going to comment this code as of now. So now I'm going with my case operator. So case. So you'll be saying this as case p underscore. I can use control space bar and you can see here your hints. So I have already told you that the control space bar will provide your hints. Just say your first letter and just say this as your control plus space bar. You can see here hints. So just select this. It will automatically write your code. Then I'm going to say when plus I'm going to write the same code over here. Whatever the code which we have written, I'm just going to write down that one. And then when minus. So subtraction, then I'm going to write the same code. Then when multiplication, I'm just going to write the same code. And then when division, I'm going to write the same piece of ABAP logic. So then when others, so that means I'm just going to say write invalid operator, valid operator. So then I'm going to say this as end case. So usually how we will be writing is, so see here, when I say this as case, after this you can see a symbol at the top. See, a symbol at the top, you can able to see this. So when you are seeing that symbol, just click a tab operator. So just click on your tab button on your keyboard. Automatically, the syntax will be written by your SAP. Even if I say this as if, automatically it will return your end if. So we will always use your tab operator because inside this, if I have multiple one more if statement and then here one more if statement. So you might be missing your end if. So where exactly you have to return that you might be able to miss it. So that's the main reason we will always use your tab operator. So if you are seeing this, even like your loop also, you'll be seeing the same thing. Loop, say automatically it is filling this. Even for do also it will do the same thing. So like this. So we will always use your tab operator so that it will automatically return your syntax. So now I'm just closing, I'm just removing this one. And now do your pretty printer and let's get activate the code. And let me click on execute. If I say this as star and if I say F8, see the value is the same. So this is how you have to use your and what is this? The case statement, as well as here the if statement. Now let's see the new syntax. How can we write down the case statement as well as here if statement? The case statement as well as your if statement. Let's see how can we write down. So now the if statement has been replaced with the new syntax. The new syntax is, so I'll just say write, or you can pass it to a variable, no issues at all. You can pass it to a variable and you can display that variable, or you can directly use your write statement and you can do your addition, subtractions and everything. Else let me pass to a variable. So data gv underscore variable is equal to conditional. So you have to use COND and you have to use a hash. If you know your data element, you can pass your data element instead of replacing your hash. So if you doesn't know it, then you will be replacing. Hash will be work as your generic. Hash will work as your generic, but if you know this. So as of now, so I'm going to say, let's say I'm going to say this as cat10. So if I take this as cat10, now the GV variable will be of your cat10. Remember that. The GV variable is of your cat10. If you are not taking this, then it will be working as your generic. If you are not taking this, then it will be working as your generic. If you are providing any data element, whatever the properties of your data element will be assigned to this field automatically. The properties will be assigned to your field automatically. So conditional, I'm just going to say this as cat10, open your braces and close your braces. So this is the first step we have to do it. And then we have say when p underscore, I'll say this as p underscore, or else I'll just go ahead and write directly over here instead of doing that. So data gv underscore variable is equal to conditional. I'm going to take this as cat10, and then you have to open your braces and close your braces. So this is the first step you have to do it. After that, just provide a space, and when p underscore operator is equal to, I just say this as plus, then so you just sum it, whatever the sum you want, 100 plus 200 plus 300. I'm just going to do this. So if not, then again one more, when p underscore operator is equal to negative, then 100 minus 200. So then when p underscore OPE is equal to multiplication, then I'll just say 100 into 200. 100 into 200. When p underscore operator is equal to division, then 100 into 100 divided by 200. So when else, you will be saying this as else. If everything is not satisfied, then I will be saying this as invalid operator. The same thing. So now I'll be just saying this as cat 20. So I'm just going to change this to cat 20 so that it can support the invalid. Or else you can just say simply, instead of this, you can just say simply this as the right. That's it. That's the code. So you don't need to declare your variables, nothing. So simply using your write statement. So when I'm saying this as you can use at your write statement, that means wherever you want this, you can able to use it over there. Wherever you want, you can able to use it over there. So this is what. Now I'm just going with your pretty printer. I'll just activate my code. So same thing. Now if I say this as execute, and if I say this as plus, and if I say F8, the answer is 600. So 100 plus 200 plus 300, we have taken this 600. Now if I take this as something different, and then you can see this as an invalid operator. Invalid operator. So now, so this is what your conditional operator. Here you can able to use your greater than, or you can able to use your less than or equal to, or you can able to use this as not equal to. So after this internally, if you want, after then again, if you have to use an if condition. So if it is plus, and then I'll just say this as, again, if you want, you can again use your conditional operator. So conditional operator, and then whatever you want, you can do it. When, so like this. So again, so that means if inside a if statement, I'm doing that. If inside an if statement, so this is one if, and inside that I'm using, so this is the logic that has to be worked inside that. Again, I'm using an if statement. So what is that? So like this. So like this, you can use multiple if statements and you can cover that entire thing in one single piece of code. So might be you might be using this conditional operator, guys. You might be using that in your Java. So this is how you will be using your if statements in your new syntaxes. The new syntax. So I'll be always be working with your new syntaxes only. Okay. So I'll just say activate. So this is what your the conditional operator. Conditional operator. Now, how can we use the case statement in your new syntax? The case has been replaced with a switch operator. Switch operator. So now, how you will be writing? Write switch cat 20 of P underscore operator. P underscore operator, and then yeah, and then you will be just saying this as when is equal to, one second, yes, here I got missed this. Let's see. Okay, sorry, I have written it in the right way. So simple. So when this one, then this is the logic has to happen. So if not, then I'll just copy this, the same thing. I'll just remove the operator. So that's it. So this is what my statement is. So when, so now here it will only check the comparison of your equal to condition. Here it will check the comparison of your equal to condition. It won't check any other condition. So because it will be seeing it on your operator is equal to plus or minus or here. So here it is just checking with your equal to. So like this. So if you are having an equal to condition, then we will be using your switch operator. If not, then we will be using your the conditional operator. So here you can just say this as your generic as your hash. So now when I do my pretty printer and let's get activate my code. See here the last statement types. So now check this. So no type can be derived from the switch. Why? Because here you are using an arithmetic calculations as well as you are passing your characters also. That's the reason SAP can't able to determine what is the what is the generic it has to be provided. So when you are getting this, then you have to replace this with your the data element or any other thing. So if you're getting this error message, then you have to replace with your data element or any other thing. So this is what we will be doing in case of this, the derivation. So no type, that means the value cannot be determined. So the output where it has to store, it can't able to determine. Now when I do my pretty printer, when I click on check, no issues at all. Now I'll just go ahead and activate your code and let me click on execute. And when I say this as division and if I say this as FA, now see here, the output value has been came up. So previously we have used variable character, but here right now we have passed the exact character. So that's the reason it has shown you here the decimal values too. The decimal values too. So this is how you have to provide your switch statement, the case statement, the conditional operator, and everything. So now let's take an assignment. So I'll be just creating an assignment folder over here. Assignment, and I'll be going to add so now assignment one. So I need 3 parameters in the selection screen. I need 3 parameters in your selection screen. Parameter 1, so the first 2 parameters, the first 2 parameters is used to provide the numbers. So like whatever the numbers you want, you can just provide your numbers, and the last parameter is used to provide the required operator. So now this is the one. So that means I need a parameter p underscore variable 1 and p underscore variable 2 where user can provide the values as 100 and 200, and p underscore operator is equal to, let's say I have just provide this as plus. Now if I say this as, then I need the output as so this sum. So if it is addition, then I need it as the sum of 100 plus 200 is equal to, so what is the output is 300. If it is negative, so if it is minus, then I need to provide it as the subtraction of 100 minus 200 is equal to 100 minus. So like this, if it is a multiply, the multiply of 100 into 200, and if it is a division, then the division of. So do this with the old syntax, the old keywords, the old syntax, and the new syntax. Do this with your old syntax as well as your new syntax. That means you have to use and try with both if statement, if statement, case statement. That means case statement, the conditional operator, and the switch operator. The switch operator. So with all these four syntaxes, you have to do it, and the deadline is 30th August. 30th August 2023, and send your assignment to send it to SR trainings, SR training 32 at the rate gmail.com. So you have to send this assignment. So how you have to send it in a Word document. So with your code, the input screen as well as your output screen, everything you have to provide it to me. So the code, what is the code you have written? For if statement, so write a one program. Case statement, write one program. Condition operator, write one program, and switch operator, write one program. So that means 4 programs you have to written, and you have to provide the 4 programs a code to me, as well as the input screen screenshot, as well as your output screenshot. So like that you have to provide it to me. So please work with these assignments going forward. The what I mean to say, the assignments will be somewhat complex. It will be complex assignments also, you will be seeing it. So right now, as we are in the basic, I'm giving the basic requirements. Going forward, once the requirements is heavy, you will be, so once we go into the deep dive, we will be giving a heavy requirement. I'll be giving you a heavy requirement. Okay, so that's it. I'm just going to save this file in your window. So once you've done it, I'll be just providing the solutions over there. I'll be just providing the solutions over there. So this is your assignment questions. I'm just going to save that one. So you can able to see that from after this class onwards. Okay, so I have already uploaded your assignment questions. Okay, so go ahead and practice this. I'll be uploading the last class video and this class video on or before 12 p.m. So on or before 12 p.m. today. And this Saturday you have your class from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And Sunday also you have your class from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock you have your class. Okay, so that's it. So that's the end of today's session. Before I signing off, any other questions?
Just a question now. Is there a reference between the old syntax and new syntax? Is there a place where we can refer always?
I have provided this in your documents and materials, the ABAP new syntaxes and basics of your program.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
you can able to see this. So
Sure.
in this new syntaxes only, I have just provided your the old syntax here, the case statement, so which has been replaced with your switch statement.
Switch
Now
statement. Okay.
the if statement, which has been replaced with your conditional operator.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Okay, so here you can able
All
to
right.
see all your the old syntaxes as well as your new syntaxes. So we'll be seeing this the new syntaxes one by one. So then you can able to see this one. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I'll be considering it as no more questions, and we'll meet you tomorrow at 7 o'clock and we'll continue our session. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.